Welcome, George. First of all, before we start having an idle fireside chat, just a short video to give you some idea of the business we're going to be discussing today.
A part of P&G since 1954. We are committed to building a brighter future. Bringing communities together. Through world-class infrastructure, unforgettable experiences, innovative solutions, and unparalleled quality. Our people are our greatest asset. Health and education are important to us. Every person has the right to access healthcare. And every child deserves an education.
And delighted you're here today to talk a little bit about the group story and also where the company's likely to go in the future. And what we decided to do with this is rather than just have a Q&A, we thought we'd do a Q&A in, I think we have about 11 photos. Yep. So to kind of give us a little bit of a photographic prompt. So here's the first photo. What can you tell me about who's in this photo, George?
So you can see my grandfather right in the middle there.
That's Sir George, the original founder.
Yes, and my grandmother, Maria, Lady Maria Constantinou. And then two over from on my left, I assume it's the same, is my father in the glasses.
In the aviators, looking very cool.
Yes, that's the one. Looks like they're in Brisbane there, probably procuring a truck. A Caterpillar truck.
So roughly what era are we looking at here?
That would have been in the 60s, I would assume. Maybe probably 70s actually.
Yeah. Now, of course, you're extraordinarily much younger than the people in that photo. So what are your own memories of Sir George and the early days of the business?
So my earliest memories are from my grandfather in Hebbo Constructions, Rona Quarries, as well as Northern Districts Timber, and another areas, 17 Mile. My grandfather, he was a loud man. He was a lot of personality. I think his nickname back when I was growing up was Constant Screamer. So I could remember the days of actually hearing him before I actually seen him. Yeah, but in saying that, he was, a family man. He enjoyed supporting the community. He was the patron of Hannabutter Hawks, and I'm now the patron of Hannabutter Hawks as well. So I'm carrying on his legacy from that, and obviously other things as well.
And the very humble beginning, just a welding business initially in the 1950s. Yeah. So how did the business transition in the early days from that humble beginnings to acquiring all these other forms of business?
Yeah, so I guess the first major business was Hebbo Constructions. It morphed over from Papua Welders to Hebbo Constructions, and it was initially just a road contractor back in the early days. It changed to, as we see now, a tier 1 Papua New Guinean civil contractor delivering major infrastructure projects in airports, seaports, road reconstruction projects, and bulk earthworks.
This is a picture, I think, of you working on the Lae Airport, which of course has undergone an enormous transformation. So the capacity for Hebbo to do significantly larger civil construction projects is that is a major part of your ongoing business now.
Yeah, so the capacity has grown quite considerably from my grandfather's times, and my grandfather initially started the business. My dad, Sir Costas, was running it during the 80s and probably early 90s, and then from there my Uncle George took it over, and from there to 2019 until he passed, and I've now taken it on from there.
And that construction market, even in the time that you've been in the company, you must have noticed quite a significant change in what the market needs and what the market's demanding from providers such as yourself.
Yeah, so it's a lot more documentation. So what we really just focus on what the client's needs are, and a lot of that is around documentation. So we work for this particular project, and when I was negotiating with in Japan with Dai Nippon Construction, our project partners on this particular project anyway, was I noticed that they had the ISO accreditation, so it was all formalised, and that's something we lack. So I tried to, I guess, emulate what our what other international contractors are doing, and so we got our ISO accreditation about 2 years ago now. So I'm very proud of that.
And I guess that's a feature very much of the market, isn't it? That good enough is no longer good enough, as it were. It has to conform to international standards to get the tenders that you need to go for.
Yeah, no, 100%. Mainly because it's you need to. For us, it's a process driven. Everything's process driven, so we need to be able to display that. So yeah.
Excellent. One of the features of the Constantinou Group is its vertical integration. So it's got businesses feeding into each other, and one of those is Monier, which is building materials. So how do the two companies work in tandem? Here we've got I'm going to read this out for those people who can't read it. 2.5 million working hours, LTI free. There you go. So that's a big celebration there.
Yeah, it was.
Presumably that's the Port Moresby Group.
Yeah, that's at Monier. So I guess for vertical integration is actually quite key in our business across a multiple range. But Monier Limited, just to give you guys a bit of a background, is our, I guess, construction's material supply business. So it supplies aggregate, sands, concrete products, and polypipes, plastic and plastic tanks as well. So I guess where that falls in is through the vertical integration is that we Monier supply all the materials, and say Lamana Developments or Hebo Constructions place it on the ground and install it, and they win the project. So it's quite key, and for us and for our clients, it provides a kind of we can control the quality, the production, the delivery times, and the costs, and it offers a kind of a turnkey solution for a lot of our clients. So I guess as time has gone on, we've through different projects such as we delivered Rangeview, which is an internal project, the old Parliament House or Number 1 Super. Plaza as well, that's an internal project, but also Motor Kia, the reconstruction of the Motor Kia port, the hard stand, the international hard stand area anyway. And so Monier supplied the construction materials, Hebo Constructions did the civil works, and then Lamana Developments supplied laid all the concrete for that project. So, and we just work together so that I guess our clients don't need to worry as much, and it reduces the risk as well.
Another feature of the group is the hospitality part of the. I think I had my first trip to Airways Hotel in 2006, and here is a very old photograph, 1992-3, we think, of the reception of the Lamana Hotel in Waigani. Lots of wooden panelling there, very fashionable for the time.
Yeah.
So that move into hospitality, I guess part of that is you could build your own properties, which gave you a capability. But these were pioneering investments for the time. B&G didn't have back then what it has now, which is global hotel brands on the buildings of the major hotels. So why was hospitality such a natural fit, and why did the group go into hospitality, do you think?
Yeah, I guess it's kind of extending on from that vertical integration. So when we had a project on the cards, so we supplied the materials, whether it's concrete or timber, and then we obviously delivered it with our construction businesses. But the next stage on from that is the whole of life of an asset, for a property asset, to operate it as well. And so whether that's office space or hospitality, it was a natural fit. My father, back in the 80s, had the mindset of setting up a hospitality business to even out the peaks and troughs of the construction industry. Okay, yeah. So it's just to level that out so we'd have good cash flows at the end of the day.
And that still proves today that's the case?
Yes, definitely.
One of the benefits of scale. So that's, now this, I love this photo, because it's not very clear, and it's probably just as well it's not very clear, because there may be people down there on the ground floor who don't wish to be identified. This is, let's face it, this is the Gold Club at La Mana. We reckon that's the late 1990s. And I guess the reason it's in here is because another part of the pioneering spirit of the group is that you're bringing things to P&G like a nightclub, like an international style nightclub, that wouldn't have otherwise been in the country. And you've seen that develop also with Airways as well, with the facilities there, the gym and the spa and all the things that, the features of that property. So how important has it been to be introducing new experiences to people in Port Moresby? The kind of experiences when they travel overseas they can experience, but maybe haven't been able to do in P&G?
I guess there's two areas to this question. It's the market is constantly evolving, and the other half is that we've got a really good management team. I guess at the end of the day, we try to strive to be a market leader in everything that we do within our group, and the hospitality sector's not too within our group is not too different. I guess we allow management to try something new, try to bring in new acts or bring up local acts, and just to make sure that it does work. And if it doesn't work, we'll try something else at the end of the day. So yeah, they do have a lot of flexibility there.
And clearly, by the looks of things, a lot of fun as well. That's fun. Here's another bit of fun. This is the installation of the C-47 plane. Minus, I think, the left wing, which is in the boardroom at Airways. It's embedded in one of the tables, I think, is it?
Possibly.
The other wing. Whose idea was it to put the plane up there?
I actually don't know.
But it's such a landmark now,
Yes,
isn't it?
yeah.
It's featured in magazine articles, in a novel. I was reading a novel recently, and it was featured in there as well. It's quite a distinctive part of the property. Another part of the property here, of course, is Airways. Now, Airways, particularly when you completed the Dakota wing, which again you would have built yourself and maintained yourselves, was a real step up for Port Moresby, wasn't it? It was really the first 5-star experience that anyone had coming into the country. And now if you go to the reception, you see the photos of all the world leaders that have been there over the years, preferring to stay as an Airways. So that, again, must have been a very brave step to convert what was previously just a motel. I think it started, it's a small motel? Yeah, no. So to actually make the decision to lift that property up.
Yeah, no, definitely. I guess back in the 80s when when my father, my uncle and my grandfather set up Airways Motel, there was a lot of optimism. There was a fair bit of stability in the market, but again, to really even out the peaks and troughs. I guess fast forward to when we developed up the Dakota wing, there was at the time there was talks and discussions around the PNG LNG project, the major project. So with that, we knew that there was going to be an uplift in, I guess, economic activity, a lot more people coming into the country. So for us, it was not really a big leap of faith, because we knew that there was going to be a lot more international, I guess, companies sending their employees that required a higher, I guess, experience in Papua New Guinea.
So it's quite a major property. Here's another interesting property, and this, I guess, is an example of overseas investments you've done. So what are we looking at here?
So that's Tumasino Island Resort in Samoa and Apia.
That's right. So that, I think, you started construction of that probably middle of the decade. It was completed around
2015 or 16. I think.
So why start to develop elsewhere in the Pacific? What are the opportunities there? And what had to be in place for you to start to look overseas?
So I guess when we look at any type of investment, and internally or externally out of Papua New Guinea, we always try and look for gaps in the market. For this development and other developments, we do a lot of detailed market analysis and try and understand the competitors as well. So we look at what the key matrix are, what's in the development pipeline for the industry, the sector, as well as the general economy. So for the hospitality side, we'd look at average room rates. We look at the occupancy levels. If it's property, it's the rental rates and obviously construction costs as well, and vacancy rates. But essentially, all of our decisions are highly driven around data. And what I always like to when I talk to the team, it's always about having the right data so you can make informed decisions. So we take the data, we put it into, we generate a business case, and we put it into discounted cash flow, and making sure that we apply the right the risk profile to the discounted cash flow, so we can really come up with the right solution at the end of the day.
So this is under the Labana development
Side, yeah.
banner. And I think also the Heritage Park in Solomon Islands, you're involved in the construction of that.
Yep.
Any other future Pacific projects you're looking at the moment, or you think there are opportunities to develop?
There are opportunities around the South Pacific. We're looking at a number of them. Another one in Samoa, and potentially something in an expansion of an existing property with our JV partners in Solomon Islands, but that's still in work in progress.
In the offing. And I guess you mentioned partners. Getting the right partner in these kind of projects is critical, and that's become a stronger component of your projects going forward.
Oh, definitely. We definitely have to have a strong alignment with our project partners or our JV partners, and ensuring that we've got the same. We're going down the same path. And generally speaking, we've got really good relationships with all of them.
So superannuation funds, good partners to have. They've got money that needs to be used. It's funny. But what other partnerships have proved fruitful to you?
So we worked with MRDC actually on this property.
Yeah.
They brought in, and they've helped us very, very, very well. But yeah, the super funds have been a good partner over the years. Yeah.
Here's another development which this is very early on. I think this is actually complete. Doesn't look like maybe it is quite complete there. That's Loloata Island, and again, that's a signature resort now. Very, very popular with politicians, I understand. But I had a chance to have a familiarisation very shortly after it opened. It's a world-class facility, isn't it? But again, a statement of confidence on where the market's going to actually commit that kind of capital to a project like that.
Yes. No, it was a great project. I was talking to the project team about the delivery of this, and the hardest part about it was highly driven around the logistics side of the construction of this project. Mainly because it's an island.
Yeah,
it's funny enough. But so getting all the materials and people and plant equipment to the island and off the island again, and then obviously dealing with the tides and making sure the wharf was upgraded and it could take all the weights and everything from, I guess, the Hira side, but the Loloata side as well.
Yeah, for those people that don't know, it used to be just a little dive shop, didn't it? Really.
Yeah.
That's what it was. A few huts and a few houses on that, and it's transformed to a lovely resort now. Let's have a look at this going a bit closer up to date now. We're like around the time COVID hit PNG.
Yeah, just a bit before that.
This is the number one super plaza development. Notably, I guess, a mixed-use development. Which is something that's becoming more common in Port Moresby, looking at a combination of accommodation, office, retail, and so on. So why was it important to have that in this kind of project, and why is that becoming more common in Port Moresby in particular?
From a planning point of view, it creates, I guess, the resident or the client a place where they can live, work and play within the same precinct. And for us, I guess, as a property developer, it allows us to have multiple income streams. We don't now own this. We sold out a couple of years ago. But it allows for residential, commercial and retail or bars and restaurants to operate. So as a property owner, you can generate multiple income streams. So we've sold out of that one back in 2020, I recall.
And I guess one of the relevant reforms of the market is the occurrence of strata title.
Yep.
You know, we're starting to see that roll out. What opportunity does that give to property developers like Lamana?
Yeah, no, it's a lot of opportunities there where we can sell the individual, units to individuals, which I'm not saying you can't do that at the moment, but it makes it a bit more defined. We're currently doing another large-scale development, just 100% internally, where we're looking to a large strata title community, but that's still a work in progress as well.
And one last photo, which I think is about legacy as much as anything. And might give you an opportunity as well to talk a little bit about Cypriot as well. This is a fundraising event for the Cypriot Foundation, which is very much about giving back. Did you want to tell us maybe just a little bit about Cypriot and why the foundation exists?
Okay, well, I'll start with the two approaches. What we do with how we work within our communities is that we do one aspect directly from the Constantinou Group of companies, so directly funded different support systems, and the other is obviously through the Cypriot Foundation. I do see one of the other directors here at the moment, so g'day, Korea. But it's appreciated that we for this particular event it was a big event last year, and we actually had one about a month ago actually, and we had a lot of support for the fundraising event. So the Cypriot Foundation predominantly focuses in on supporting education and healthcare within Papua New Guinea. They're the two major drivers. So we've over the years historically through my uncle was supporting Bukmong Pikanini as well as the Port Moresby General Hospital. Moving forward, we're just opening that up to a little bit further, and we're still working with the legacies from legacy support of those two companies or two areas, as well as other areas like KTF, where we've just recently supported them with
the Kokoda Track Foundation.
Yeah, Kokoda Track Foundation with their FODE out at Pari and Tarama. So we donated 160,000 kina about a month and a half ago, maybe 2 months ago now. So that can help out with their operations. We're also just announced the other night that we're going to assist with the Metro Health Centre out at Hanabata in terms of support there. So we're just coming up with the new strategic plan, which I've got to sit down and work with the other directors to ensure that we can provide a really good outcome for everyone.
So clearly legacy is an important part of the way the business operates, and being true to the founding spirit, I guess, of the group. Where do you see yourself taking it now that you've got your hands on the wheel, as it were? Where would you like to see it go over the next 5 to 10 years?
To be honest, I'm very comfortable on the track that we're on. I've done some tweaks here and there in terms of the level of support and how we support. I do feel education and then the healthcare sectors in Papua New Guinea need support in a lot of different areas. So we're going to continue to help out, and that was something that I know my grandfather, but also my dad and my uncle were very, very passionate about. So it's just continuing on that legacy at the end of the day.
Brilliant. Well, George, every success in the future. Thank you for sharing something of the story today and these plunging through the family archive to get some of these photos for us. Will you please thank George?
Cheers, thank you.
Thank you very much.